Azure OpenAI Service is a managed Azure cloud service that integrates powerful OpenAI language models into Azure infrastructure. This service allows developers and organizations to access and deploy large-scale generative AI models for tasks such as text generation, summarization, translation, and question answering in a secure, scalable way. It is integrated within Azure's enterprise-grade security and compliance frameworks, providing a reliable platform for deploying generative AI applications. Key capabilities include prompt-based interactions with GPT models, customizable endpoints, and integration within larger Azure AI solutions, making it a versatile tool for enterprise applications. Provisioning an Azure OpenAI service resource involves setting up necessary cloud infrastructure within Azure. This includes defining resource groups, selecting service tiers, determining region availability, ensuring subscription compatibility, and configuring suitable authentication methods. Azure provides standardized options for managing resources, allowing administrators to define access permissions, pricing tiers, and operational parameters explicitly. Well-defined provisioning supports robust deployment strategies by enabling resource isolation, scalability, and systematic management of generative AI deployments. Understanding these provisioning basics ensures smooth deployment, increased reliability, and reduced operational challenges when implementing generative AI solutions. Before provisioning, ensure the following prerequisites. Azure subscription with appropriate permissions. Appropriate Azure region supporting OpenAI service. Capacity allowance in your subscription for AI resources. Compliance and data governance policies aligned with Azure guidelines. Verify your Azure subscription settings and limits to support resource allocation. Check and confirm regional availability as Azure OpenAI service is region-dependent. Ensure compliance frameworks and governance policies within your organization allow the deployment and use of such cognitive and generative AI technologies. Meeting these prerequisites beforehand aids in preventing deployment issues and compliance-related risks. Provisioning begins from the Azure portal. Sign into the Azure portal, navigate to create a resource. Search for Azure OpenAI service. Select it and then click on the Create button. A structured wizard guides you through the provisioning steps. This initial phase sets up the infrastructure needed for running generative language models. Navigation is intuitive, requiring minimal prior Azure experience, yet customization opportunities allow precise resource control and compliance management tailored specifically to your organizational requirements. During Azure OpenAI resource deployment, carefully configure these parameters. Subscription. Choose the Azure subscription to be billed. Resource group. Either use existing or create new to manage resources systematically. Resource name. Ensure it is descriptive according to your organization's naming conventions. Region. Select a region ensuring compliance with data residency and optimal performance. Pricing tier. Choose between available options considering performance and cost requirements. Accurate configuration at this stage ensures resources are fiscally responsible, compliant, and aligned with intended generative AI scenarios, facilitating better resource management post-deployment. Azure OpenAI service offers different pricing tiers, typically free tier, limited usage and capability. Standard tier, recommended for production workloads. Premium tier, high scalability, availability. Select appropriate tier by balancing use case requirements, expected workload volumes, and budgeting considerations. Consider future scalability or expansion plans when making your decision. Standard tier is adequate for most production scenarios, providing robust access to GPT models and optimized for regular professional use. Premium tiers are directed towards large-scale deployments demanding higher scalability and performance assurances, catering specifically to extensive enterprise-grade generative AI workloads. Configure security settings during deployment, ensuring safe usage. Virtual networks. VNet integrate Azure OpenAI service securely within private networking infrastructures. Firewall settings. Allow or restrict access securely based on organizational policies. Identity management. Incorporate Azure Active Directory for robust identity and access control. Azure ensures robust security measures through encryption in transit, data access control, and built-in data residency compliance. Correctly configuring network and security features at inception reduces attack surfaces, ensures operational security compliance, and fosters secure interactions within organizational IT frameworks, benefiting secure generative AI operational environments. After setting selection, carefully review configurations before committing. Validate resource groups and regions' alignment with organizational governance policies. Confirm pricing tier and expected monthly expenditures. Check network and security configurations for compliance and security. Azure Portal provides validation tools that can identify inconsistencies or misconfigurations, preventing future resource management difficulties or operational disruptions. Double-checking details at this phase is critical to avoid costly or cumbersome resource reconfigurations, regulatory noncompliance, and operational inefficiencies that misuse Azure resources and impact generative AI service reliability. Finalize resource creation by clicking Create. Azure backend processes provisioning and makes resources available typically within a few moments to minutes. Monitor the deployment status within Azure Portal Deployment Center for completion. Azure provides feedback, resource links, and diagnostics if encountered issues arise. Upon successful deployment, access your newly created resource, confirming operational state, configuration details, and endpoints are consistent with specifications determined during provisioning. Ensuring successful deployment completion is crucial for proceeding confidently to subsequent integration and implementation activities in your generative AI project lifecycle. Once provisioned, perform essential post-deployment tasks including access management, review and configure Azure Role-Based Access Control, RBAC, roles, endpoint verification, test and ensure service availability using Azure Portal or API, monitoring setup, configure diagnostics, alerts, and logging for ongoing performance and security monitoring. Regularizing these tasks ensures operational smoothness, security integrity, and compliance adherence. Properly managing access permissions ensures resource security, while monitoring configurations help proactively detect and correct operational issues, fostering confidence in your deployed generative AI solutions. Azure OpenAI Service Resources support scalability, vertical scaling, adjust service tier to manage resource capability, horizontal scaling, deploy multiple service instances across different regions or subscription setups for enhanced geographic reach or capacity. Manage resources via Azure Portal, Azure CLI, or Azure PowerShell to dynamically respond to evolving generative AI workloads. Periodically revisiting scaling strategies maintains optimal performance, avoids resource overspending, and efficiently caters to variable business demands and generative AI usage patterns within your organization. Follow Azure guidelines and best practices for reliable provisioning. Adhere to naming conventions for easier manageability. Implement logical resource grouping aligned to organizational structures. Define robust security parameters initially. Monitor regularly to anticipate and address scaling adjustments proactively. Adopting Azure-proven best practices greatly facilitates ongoing infrastructure operations, fosters compliance adherence, optimizes expenditures, and establishes strong foundations for generative AI implementations. These structured approaches simplify resource management complexities, ensuring readiness and resilience under various operational conditions.